Okay, it's time to move on forward. Okay, so yes, once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you might be in the planet Earth. Okay, yes, thank you so much for uh, your interest and willingness to take part in this webinar. I'm your host, Bekim Daoudi, and of course, I'm going to be taking care to present the very interesting yet insightful topics of Microsoft M365 Copilot prompting session. Uh, Pretty much that's a new name for the Microsoft 365. Microsoft has just recently added the Copilot behind the Microsoft 365. So therefore, when we actually go along and then embrace the Copilot within the organization, premise that tells that if we have actually purchased the licenses in order to utilize and leverage accordingly the Copilot within the workplace, then obviously that particular subscription to our organization, to your organization, to everyone's organization, which have embraced the Copilot is going to be Microsoft 365. Okay, so yes, like I said, once again, welcome to the Microsoft 365 Copilot prompting session, which of course is going to be introducing the effective ways of how we actually interact with the Copilot. Uh, Copilot, as you are aware or as you know, is considered to be Microsoft artificial intelligence powered assistant. When we say powered assistance, okay, let's just take one particular example or analogy from the real world. Okay, when we fly with airplanes, obviously we are being introduced, of course, by the people on board that there's a pilot and of course co-pilot. Okay, so him or her in the role of a co-pilot is actually there to assist the pilot. So in that case, the pilot is going to be me, it's going to be you, it's going to be every user worldwide, and the co-pilot is going to be the Microsoft product. Okay, the M365 co-pilot. So that's why we actually call it powered AI powered assistant, which of course it's part of the Microsoft 365 suite. Yes, this session is going to be covering the best practices in order to help you initially understand the importance of the prompt, and then of course some of the best practices, recommendations, and guides in regard to crafting a very good prompts. Okay, additionally, we will actually provide as much as needed information in order to pretty much support the claims why the prompts matter a lot and why we should be having pretty much some of the considerations that we're going to be disclosing through this particular webinar within the prompts in order to ensure that we are going to be getting the best out of the Copilot. Yes, overall, by understanding how to structure the prompts, and also like within the prompts being able to provide some contextual details, definitely that will help you, will help everyone to actually optimize, enhance the creativity, and also like improve efficiency when working with Copilot in Microsoft 365 apps and services. Okay, that was the intro of this particular webinar. Okay, yes, we have three topics. The first one, okay, so we're going to be very much getting into the Microsoft 365 Copilot, okay? So we're going to be starting, as you can notice on this particular slide, with the introduction to the features and functionalities of the Microsoft 365 Copilot. Reason for that is that because we want to provide you the explanations on how to enhance the productivity across Microsoft 365 applications. Next, with the topic 2, we will look forward to explore the possibilities, okay? Exploring the possibilities and capabilities of the Microsoft 365, especially on the real world use cases. So we're going to be providing you some demonstrations how Copilot can streamline the tasks, how can Copilot improve the creativity, and of course, how can Copilot boost the efficiency. Of course, we're going to be giving you an example of a week of a loose prompt, and of course we will be giving you a very correct, okay, or strong prompt So you can then notice the differences, okay, within a given application. So we're actually going to be providing you such examples in the Office 365, which includes Word, includes Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and of course, Microsoft Teams. And then yes, on the topic, the third topic, okay, which is all about optimizing and extending the Microsoft 365 Copilot. We're going to be discussing the best practices. We're going to be discussing the integrations and advanced capabilities, which of course will enable the users in order to be able to maximize the AI-powered assistance. In this case, the benefits that we will get it from the Copilot. Okay, now that we've actually presented to you the agenda, moving on forward. Okay, okay, yes. Moving on forward, and then yes, starting the discussion around the introduction to the Microsoft 365 Copilot. Okay, this is webinar, and of course, we actually can communicate to one another because we have the chat box in there. Okay, just before we proceed further, okay, yes, very shortly, in this particular topic, as the title indicates, we're going to be explaining what is the Microsoft 365 Copilot, okay? So reason for that is that we want to indeed establish the understanding around the Microsoft 365 Copilot, okay? And then how it works, how it integrates with the applications of the Microsoft 365 apps and services. Just a friendly reminder, although you might actually have this information, that according to the Microsoft, we are between 200 to 300 apps and services within the Microsoft 365, okay? So I'm not saying that all these apps and services, they are equipped with a Copilot, but Microsoft is actually doing its best in order to bring more and more Copilots within its portfolio of the Microsoft 365 apps and services, okay? And then yes, very much. This is actually the topics that we're going to be very much covering into this particular introduction to the Microsoft 365 Copilot. But the thing that I wanted to very much actually share with you is that I'm very much interested to find out from you in your own words. What do you think the Copilot is? Okay, so use the chat box and then share your own opinion of what do you think Copilot is, okay? That doesn't mean that it should be a long sentence, okay? Simply in your own words. Like that, we establish the communication. And trust me, the more we communicate it, actually, the more of a success we bring into this particular webinar, okay? I'd like to thank you very much for your time in this particular engagement. Okay, let me see. Yes, I'm noticing that the chat box is being busy, but okay. Zishan, okay, and I would like to apologize if I cannot pronounce correctly your name, but with understanding, of course. Zishan says, I'll do my best. Huh? It's an assistant to accomplish tasks based on instructions. Okay, Zishan was saying that. Sharafat says, sorry to interrupt. Is this the same session that we had yesterday? No, Sharafat. This is actually a little bit different. Okay. Yes, this is all about the prompts. Okay, but definitely we need to bring over some of the discussion which we've actually might have covered yesterday, but mostly it's going to be the prompts. Okay, so no problem on that. And thank you very much for addressing that particular concern and question. Okay, yeah, thank you so much. Okay, moving on forward. So that was Sharafat, which I would like to thank you very much again for taking part on this second webinar. Rakesh says, mimicking tool which learn from humans and repeats actions. Okay, so it's mimicking tool which is learning from humans and repeats the actions. Now with trained AI models, we'll use it as mine. Okay, yes, the Rakesh is stating that the Copilot can be considered a mind or use it like a mind. Yeah, not consider it like this. Okay, excellent. Anyone else? Come on, please. Let's make it interesting. Okay, a Rakesh, a tool that will make our life easy. Oh, yes, 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 yes. That was very soundy, I'll say, statement. Sharafat, thank you. Okay, it seems like Rakesh is yes. We have Albani as well. Help me in my task. Sarah says, help me in my task. Copilot will help Sarah in her tasks. Okay, that's good. In robotics we have teaching to teach it. Here we vectorize data and use it when called on queries. Okay, excellent, super. So far, so good. I'm noticing, okay, pardon for extending a bit longer than needed, but notice that, okay, yes, Ankit was entering text. Copilot is more kind of a tool which uses data, analyze it, and provide best output based on inputs, okay? And Albani says, how about updates? Microsoft 365 Copilot moving forward, would this be chargeable? Okay, so this is a question. Okay, Albani, with the understanding, before we actually provide you the answer to that particular question, let me just actually then proceed over here. Okay, so what is the Copilot? Well, the Copilot, it is first and foremost an AI model. Okay, it is based on the GPT. Okay, when I say GPT, okay, obviously your mind instantly can go to the Chat GPT, but it's not Chat GPT. Chat GPT is actually a product. Of course, it's an AI model, but of course, at the same time, it's a product which comes from the OpenAI. But Copilot, as the ChatGPT, these are considered to be AI models, which fall within the weak AI models or narrow AI models. Why I'm actually loudly speaking about this one, because I want to clarify some stuff, okay? So when I say the categorization of the artificial intelligence, of course, there's some strong and weak AIs, okay? And these weak AIs, or differently called narrow AIs, are actually pretty much, then we can find an example of the GPTs, generative pre-trained transformers. Okay, that's how the pretty much the Copilot, ChatGPT, and the rest of this similarity AI models fall within this particular categorization of the artificial intelligence. Why? Because they are AI models which are task oriented. And the fact that they are task oriented, this tells them that's why we've actually initially called it AI powered assistant, because it's going to be, and it was actually the aim was to develop an AI model which is going to be empowering the users, individual and also like both individual and on the workplace, in order to enhance the productivity at the individual level, but of course within the workplace as well, within the organization. Okay, so then this is the Copilot. Okay, it's a GPT AI model, generative pre-trained transformer, which of course is task oriented. And the idea is, in order to actually boost and increase and improve, automate all the daily routines that we work with the computers, with the devices, in order to actually increase the productivity. Okay, so that would be actually one simplistic definition about the Copilot. Definitely, we might go on and tell that it's imitating the humans, mimicking the humans, does this and that, but at least from the very technical profile, that's pretty much the case of the what is the Microsoft 365 Copilot. And the idea why it is now called the Microsoft 365 Copilot, because it's actually It is part of the Microsoft 365 suite, okay? Apps and services. As a premise, like I said earlier, it's not in all of the apps and services because definitely between 200 and 300. But yes, more and more actually applications are coming and services from the Microsoft, which are actually equipped with the Copilot. Okay, so Microsoft 365 Copilot is indeed an AI-powered assistant, which, as like we said, designed to help the users in order to work more efficiently with the Microsoft 365 applications. Some of the most used applications within the Microsoft 365 apps and services are Office 365, Microsoft Teams, okay? And of course, some other applications as well. It provides some smart suggestions when working with it, can automate the task, can enhance the creativity. Of course, how it does that? Well, because it falls within the category of the artificial intelligence, which we've actually named as GPTs, generative pre-trained transformers. So it's generating the responses, generating. When we enter the prompt, it actually provides the outcome is a response, a generated response, okay? So it can be in the format of a text, it can be in the format of the image, it can be in the format of a code, it can be in the format of the audio, it can be in the format of the video, and etc. and etc. Overall, it will assist users in collaboration. Okay, now coming to the question that Albani has addressed, okay, to be able to use the Copilot, there are certain requirements, okay? Before we go into the requirements for the subscribed edition or version of the Copilot, let's just tell you some information that we have the Copilot at the level of the operating system. So it's part of the Windows 10 and Windows 11. Okay, so if you are running the licensed version of the Windows 10 and Windows 11 and the minimum build 22H2, then you have it the Copilot on your machine. Okay, and then that Copilot is operating system oriented. It's going to be helping you to do the tasks on your machine on that Windows operating system. You have it the Copilot within the Microsoft Edge. Okay. Yes, you can then definitely reference this Copilot and then search the information from the internet. Of course, it pretty much is something that we call it as the Bing search, which is obviously being it is also powered by the AI as well. Okay, what else? You have it within the GitHub. If it happens that you are a developer, you're aware that you have it the Copilot in the GitHub as well. Okay, where else? You have it within the Azure. Okay, cloud computing environment of the Azure. So like this, pretty much we have the Copilot, but I've started actually with some of the free edition. If you have a Microsoft account and if you go to the Copilot website, pretty much you can then sign in and use then your 5 GB storage of a OneDrive and then start actually having that initial interaction with the Copilot and like that build your own experience at the individual level with a Copilot, okay? And use that your OneDrive as a repository for all of the work that you're going to be very much collaborating, actually sharing with the Copilot. Now, going back to the subscription with the payment. To have the Microsoft 365 Copilot, we said access to the Microsoft 365 Copilot, well, we said that there is some requirements. Okay, initially, the users should have or should be equipped with the or assigned to Microsoft 365 licenses. Okay, definitely. This requires a tenant. A tenant is an instance of the organization in the cloud. And this particular tenant then is going to be overseeing the identity and access management by the Microsoft Entra ID, which means the authentication and authorization. Then the OneDrive, but OneDrive part of the Microsoft 365 Copilot, OneDrive for Business, as we've been calling before, okay? SharePoint. Why? Because these two apps are actually used as the repository for the documents organization data, okay? Because the Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot can reference the data from these two applications, okay? And definitely then pretty much then enhance and of course improve and further then establish that particular collaboration within the environment. Okay, so now very specifically, in terms of what Albani was addressing, okay, it is that if you want to have the Microsoft 365 Copilot, then definitely that's with a payment. Okay, you have the Copilot Pro that you can purchase subscription as an individual user. If you're opting for that, Albani and the rest of the attendees in this webinar, at the individual level, you have the Copilot Pro, okay? So yourself can actually purchase that particular subscription, and then obviously that belongs to you as an individual user. But if you want to have the Microsoft 365 Copilot, the way that might be that your organization is having the Copilot, the Microsoft 365 subscription, then that actually should be, that's not individual payment. That's actually the organization, as I was pretty much explaining that one like a tenant. Okay, yes, I'm glad that that helped, Albani, to clarify the thing. Yes, thank you. GPT, OpenAI also have versions, so will these update be automatic, free, or other? Okay, now, stopping now within the Microsoft 365 Copilot, whatever the new capabilities are going to be introduced with Copilot, okay, whatever new features, whatever this and that, as long as you have the subscription of the Microsoft 365 Copilot, and pretty much if that new update is very much actually related to the version that you're running based on your subscription, you will actually get it, okay? There's no restrictions in that regard, okay? So I think that actually helps to clarify that particular thing as well. Okay, moving on forward. Further, what is the Microsoft 365 Copilot? Yes, pretty much, well, we went over that particular part. I would like to stop it over here, okay? What's this large language models, okay? Well, the large language models is just telling us that this AI model, which of course has a name, and we'll call it Copilot, has been trained with the big data. When we say big data, huge data, okay? And then because it is actually being trained with the huge data, and obviously it offers a lot of capabilities. Other than that, another thing is that how then we are actually establishing the communication with the Copilot. Well, in between us, in the format of a middleware, in the format of the bridge, okay, or in the format of, call it the way that you want, it is the natural language processing. The natural language processing, what it does, it enables us as humans, okay, in the role of a users, of course, to interact with machine, in this case, with Copilot, with AI model. When I say AI model, obviously, is very obvious artificial intelligence model. So the natural language processing enables humans to interact, okay, communicate with the machines, in this case, with the Copilot. So then the thing is that, for instance, like when we want to address or when we want to enter a prompt into the Copilot, that's why, because it was trained with the large language models, huge data, I can then address queries in my own native language. And same you will do. And worldwide, people with the different languages, okay, can address. So this tells that there's no technical background needed, so we can then interact or communicate with the Copilot. Because when we look into the IT world, there, for instance, like if I want to communicate or if I want to ask or query the SQL Server, okay, then I need to know the SQL, the structured query language. Here, no need, okay? It's very easily, it's very simple, okay? What else? Well, trusted data security. Yes, if I was actually saying this one yesterday on yesterday's webinar as well, even the competition admits that the Microsoft is actually the most compliant organization when it comes to the cloud computing platforms. Okay, and then in order to indeed attain this level of the success from the perspective of a compliance, which means adherence to the laws, regulations, constitutions of hundreds and hundreds of countries worldwide. Okay, and now automatically and instantly we will think that behind this, all this huge work, there's actually a very decent and of course solid security as well. And it is. So the Copilot is being designed with the security in mind. Okay, when I say this one, I'm telling you that the enterprise grade security which Microsoft is using in order to protect its resources in the cloud, and then those same resources to share them in the format of a services, cloud services, Azure services, for all of the customers, and same applies to the Copilot. So yes, Copilot is securing your data, is protecting your privacy. Okay, and very important is that Copilot is not using the organization data to be trained. Okay, Copilot is actually being trained by the data that belongs to the Microsoft, okay, not the organization's data. Copilot is just referencing the data of the organization in order to boost and increase and improve the productivity. That's all, okay? Moving on forward, explore how Microsoft 365 Copilot is working. Yes, we need to understand the fact that the Microsoft 365 Copilot is designed to be able to understand the context and also the user needs. How? By being able to analyze the content, by being able to gain some insights, and also like by being able to monitor in a real time. Additionally, the Copilot does transform the way that the users are actually working. You can take the example of yourself. If you've been using ChatGPT for some time now, okay, or you've been using the free versions of the Copilot, or maybe even the Copilot with a payment within the workplace, well, whether it was a week, a month, or a half of a year or a year, well, indeed, at yourself, you can find the arguments that something has changed recently, especially in the way that you're working, okay? Indeed, trust me. Why? Because now that you're actually, I'm not saying relying, but of course, collaborating more and more with this AI-powered assistant, there are actually things that if, for instance, okay, if you've been in charge of drafting reports, weekly reports, monthly reports, okay, and took you quite some time, well, with the actually now with the assistance of the Copilot, of course, you have decreased a lot of time that you've devoted to compiling the reports, and therefore that additional extra time that you've gained, you're actually devoting now to some of the tasks, okay? And within that, obviously, plenty of time, more of the option for the becoming more creative and bring it into the workplace. Okay, so that's how the Copilot is indeed transforming the way that we actually work. And then yes, when we look into the capabilities, of course, Copilot does offers a lot of the features which are indeed going to be enhancing the engagement, streamlining the communication, and overall actually robusting support for writing, presentation, data analysis, security, and the user control as well. With one word, we will say that it will help users work more efficiently and effectively as well. Okay, that was the very first part of the topic one. Okay, now we go slowly into the topic two when we're going to be exploring the possibilities for the Microsoft 365 Copilot. Okay, to not make this webinar just a dry content, let me just share with you some very interesting thing. Okay, so I'm bringing into the share screen. Okay, what I'm bringing to the share screen, the Microsoft 365 Copilot. Okay, now class, if you're looking carefully over here, okay, I have positioned it myself within the Microsoft 365, okay? And nowadays, when we go into the Microsoft 365, what we notice that there's some new name, okay? So you're noticing that this is actually Microsoft 365 Copilot, okay? What I'm presenting to you is the paid version of the Copilot, okay? So it's a tenant which runs a subscription with the Copilot license. Excellent. Okay, you're noticing that I'm at home, okay, of this particular portal over here. Even you can notice that one from the URL over here on top of that. Okay, now class, are you noticing that on the left-hand side navigation, okay, I have the icon of the Copilot, and this is the Copilot chat, okay? If I'm going to be clicking on this one, okay, shortly you'll see some different content on that particular homepage of the Microsoft 365. Okay, you will notice that I'm actually now at the user interface of the Copilot. But which Copilot? Microsoft 365 Copilot, or with the acronym M365 Copilot. Now coming over here, on top of this particular, let call it like the brand icon, I'm having something which says work and the web. Okay, currently it's on the web, which means that with this toggle on the web, the Copilot is going to be referencing the content from the web. Okay, so whatever prompt I'm going to be answering over here, that is going to be referencing pretty much the content on the web. Okay, so I'll say, hey, Copilot, what's up? Could you tell me what is Copilot? Okay, let's see. You see, it says, it looks like I can chat about this. Let's try a different topic. Okay, so pretty much I was actually asking what's up, and of course, okay, pretty much this was the prompt. Okay, could you tell me what is the Copilot? Okay, so pretty much it's not something that we would be very much actually going into these particular type of prompts. Okay, so that's why I'm saying now that this particular webinar is going to be indeed telling you how important it is to devote timing in crafting the prompts so you can get the best out of the Copilot. We've been telling a big words for the Copilot, but all of a sudden we receive something like, it looks like I can chat about this. Let's try a different topic, okay? So prompt matters a lot. And this toggling at the web was actually referencing on the web. But when I go in here, work, now this is going to be very much referencing now internally the data of the organization. Okay, and remember what I said earlier, that it requires that the data is actually located in the SharePoint and of course OneDrive as well, because only in these two repositories the Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot, can reference the data, can access the data, and of course then can use the data in order to provide you the productivity on the work that you're doing, that I'm doing, and everyone is actually doing. Okay, now what else I wanted to tell you over here is that when we look into the user interface, okay, usually what we see is that apart from these particular prompts that we have it over here, which definitely are the suggested prompts, okay, apart from this particular options that we have it over here, like the new chat, we've been talking security, yes, enterprise data protection. Okay, so that has that your data is being protected with the best security controls that Microsoft is actually using in order to protect its data centers as well and its own products. Okay, open the recent pages, and of course you have other options over here as well. Okay, and then definitely you can then toggle this panel on the right hand side. Then we come actually to that particular text box. Okay, the text box is indicating the area where we're going to be interacting with the Copilot. It's very simple. Okay, if you've been having the experience of the command line interface within the operating systems, within the applications that you're working, okay, then definitely that's the prompt. That was actually the prompt for you on your operating system, and the prompt for you on the applications. Same is over here as well. So we have actually the prompt over here as well. Okay, so with this one, I wanted actually to give you the view of how the Microsoft 365 Copilot is looking right within the Microsoft 365. Okay, I'll continue now a bit with the topic 2, because we're going to be exploring, okay, yes, exploring, for instance, like composing and summarizing the documents with Microsoft 365 Copilot in Word. Okay, now moving on forward. before I move on, okay, I did ask you in the topic one, what is the Copilot? And then, of course, we had a great discussion. Okay, this time I would be very much interested to find out from you, okay, respected audience, to tell me why Copilot. Okay, let me see. And there's a Rakesh says why Copilot in Power BI is not available and asks for Fabric. Okay, Rakesh, first, are you using the Microsoft 365 Copilot paid license? Yes. And you're saying that you cannot use the Copilot in Power BI? Yes, yes, I've actually understood, no problem. Me, it sounds very interesting. Okay, why? Because okay, I can go to Power BI over here and pretty much then, so very interesting indeed. To me, it sounds a bit interesting. Even Copilot Studio, then okay, then in that case, I will suggest you to reach out to the IT department. Okay, to reach out to the IT department within the organization. Okay, now that you're saying this, what about your colleagues? Can your colleagues access the Copilot in Power BI and of course in Copilot Studio as well? You need app 64 asks you to enable Copilot environment to get this working. Okay, Zishan. Okay, that's the stock keeping unit. Okay, definitely. But overall, same we reached Microsoft and they said the same as Zishan said. Okay, now okay, let's clarify for everyone in this webinar. Okay, so Microsoft 365 Copilot is available in Power BI. It is available. But now, because you're getting into some very specific data analysis, okay, which definitely requires over here the usage of the fabric, okay, then in that case, obviously that requires a stock keeping unit, okay? What would be the stock keeping unit? The stock keeping unit would be an additional feature in order to support an extra capability of the Copilot, okay? Which of course is specific to what would be for the general audience, okay? So that's the case. But we will say that Power BI has the Copilot and the Copilot works on the Power BI. So if you do some common work on the Power BI, definitely you can benefit from using the Copilot. But if you do some very enhanced and advanced data analysis, okay, which goes beyond that Microsoft 365 common license, then definitely you need that stock keeping unit. So you don't need a license. Let's just differentiate for everyone in this webinar. The stock keeping unit is not the license itself, okay? It's just a feature. Okay, it's just a feature. If I want to have this feature, like for instance, when we buy a car, okay, I can have a manual AC, but you might have the automatic 2-zone and 3-zone and 4-zone AC, okay? So if I wanted to have automatic, then of course I need to pay an extra money, okay? So yes, last week Microsoft announced Copilot for the F2 SQs in the Fabric. You should be able to see it very soon. Yes, Zishan just updated. Thank you very much, Zishan, for this most recent updates, okay? But yeah, okay, since we brought the discussion at the SQs, I think I've provided enough explanation in that particular regard, okay? Super. Now, what I wanted actually to ask you now, the respected audience, okay, tell me how many of you are using the Copilot? Let's begin with the free version. Okay, use the chat box and yes, thumbs up, okay, or just a yes, it will tell me that, okay, you are actually using, regardless, a day, a week, okay, maybe just recently you started using. Rakesh, yes, for sure. Yeah, Rakesh, thank you so much. Sarah, yes, okay. Zishan, yes, okay, excellent, super. So this is the free version, okay? Yes, the free version. Okay, who else? Who else? Come on, come on, come on. Okay, no problem. Yeah, thank you very much. Now, who is using the Chat GPT free version? Again, Rakesh. Okay, super, super. Yes, 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 yes. Chat GPT. Okay, Sharfat. Let's see, Sharfat, what is going to be telling us. Zishan says yes. I use ChatGPT and Copilot both today. Okay, excellent, super. Okay, okay. Let's go further. Okay, can you bring in some of the differences? Okay, between ChatGPT and the Copilot. Okay, I myself do not want to make a comparison in order to favor one over the other, but just actually something that you've actually like from your experience identified at the ChatGPT and some other thing that you've identified within the Copilot. Okay. Free version is almost similar, but Copilot gives more options once the query is answered to get more details. Okay, so that was from Sharfat. Okay, telling that almost similar, but Copilot is giving more options once the query is answered. Okay, the scope of Copilot search is related to user and Microsoft Graph based content. Okay, so that was from Rakesh. And since you brought the concept of the Microsoft Graph, let's just mention that the Microsoft Graph is actually that platform, okay, that actually enables the interconnection between apps and services of the Microsoft 365. Sherpa says work on web option as well. Okay. Uh, yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much indeed. Very busy. The chat is becoming very busy. Okay. I'm seeing the Zishan is actually entering some text. Do not want it to stop. Okay. And then obviously I will go into this, compose and summarize the documents with Microsoft 365. Okay, answers that require reasoning are better with ChatGPT using the same prompt. I find Copilot to be better for MS Tech products. Zishan was pretty much telling this one. Okay, super. No, in fact, that's the reason I said that very much we're not going to be going into the comparison rather than into the fact that how much you're actually utilizing pretty much leveraging and relying upon in your daily tasks upon a powered AI assistance. Okay, so the reason for that is that because the fact that we've embraced the AI powered assistance, that tells that very much we are more and more into these new technologies in order to actually increase our daily routines from the perspective of the productivity. Okay, but then definitely you might find something within one particular AI model, which then of course might not. It's not that it's not in the other one, but of course just the interpretation of as Zishan was saying that like when we actually use it, the same prompt, it just tells that better with the chat GPT. Well, I'll say like that that's the free version, but I will say that depends from the context. Okay, we will give actually some of the examples. Okay, class, we are in this particular slide over here, which is actually providing some of the visuals from the Microsoft from the Word 365 and Copilot in the Word 365. Okay, let me go there. Coming back to this particular screen, I'm going to the app launcher, okay, and I'll go to the Word. Okay, here is the Word. Let's go to this blank document. So this is the Word 365 because you're noticing up here the URL. And on the right-hand side, you're noticing the Copilot icon, okay? Here above the document, you're noticing the Copilot icon as well, okay? Now, this is for drafting documents, and this is for asking Copilot, okay? We're going to be using this one with a certain prompts. Okay, so I'm going to be entering initially a weak prompt, okay, in Word, okay, something like this. Okay, write an introduction about the artificial intelligence. Are you noticing what Copilot is doing in this particular prompt of mine? Okay, it's adding an additional text. Okay, why? Because just like that, this is indeed weak. But I'm doing that on purpose. Why? Because this webinar is to highlight the importance of why we need to devote timing and take it seriously, the prompts. Okay? Because only like that, we can get the best out of the Copilot. Okay? No problem. I'm going to be actually using like that. But before I go with that, let me just tell you something. Okay? So if I want to approve this part, okay, just mine, not this one, okay, then you see it tells me to press the tab. If I press the tab, which I'm not going to be pressing, okay, on the keyboard, then the highlight its impact on various industries and its potential to transform everyday life would it be included in the prompt. But I'm interested to actually just with that particular prompt of mine. So this then is generate. It's similar to the enter, okay? Pressing on the keyboard. If I want to reference a document, then obviously I will be referencing from here. Okay, but the referencing document from where? Remember, OneDrive, okay? So these are the most recent documents, but then obviously I can come from here. Okay, if I want to search within the OneDrive or SharePoint, or I can reference the files, okay, emails, of course, the meetings as well. Okay, are you noticing now that I'm able to collaborate broadly within my organization? Okay, let me click on this one and browse files from the cloud. Okay, so yes, now I'm going to the my files within the OneDrive. Okay, and then I can then pick up the document that I need, select it, and hit attach, cancel. I can also do it with /. Okay, if I put it / over here, then obviously I can reference a document similar to this particular clip over here. Okay, super. Let's just actually use it. This one, write an introduction about artificial intelligence, and then let's generate and see what. Okay, super. I'm actually reviewing the document. Okay, introduction to artificial intelligence. Okay, understanding the basics and beyond. What is artificial intelligence? History of it. Types of artificial intelligence. Okay, application of artificial intelligence. Okay, challenges and ethical considerations. Future of artificial intelligence. Okay, it seems like I'm not actually happy with what I've received from the Copilot. Should I blame the Copilot? No. Why? Because I'm actually enhancing my prompt. Okay, so what I'm doing now is that same from here. From here, okay, I would actually enter this one. Okay, this is write a formal introduction about artificial intelligence, explain its definition, key benefits in business, and its impact on efficiency and innovations. Let's see what is going to be happening now. Okay, so generate now, refining the draft. Okay, okay. You see, maybe the content may seem a bit shorter, but that's what I was needed. Okay, so therefore now you can see. Okay, so for instance, I will share it with you. Okay, Word. 365. Okay. So weak prompt and then strong prompt. Okay, so that's what I was needing. Okay, now pay attention over here, audience, respected audience, that I can here regenerate, I can discard, okay, or I can ask for more, but I can keep it. But now I'm having like two iterations, two versions of it, okay? So I can go to the first one, okay? Or I can then proceed further to the second one, okay? Which one I would like to keep it, then I can keep it. Okay, say that I was interested for this particular one, okay? And I've reviewed the document and this is exactly what I wanted. So then I'm going to be keeping this one, okay? Pay attention now to the naming, how it was actually stored, okay? The icon here tells you that this is stored already on OneDrive, okay? Introduction to the artificial intelligence. Awesome, super. Let's move on forward. So pretty much this is the importance about the prompt. Okay, let's move on further. Okay, so yes, pretty much we've actually seen these particular elements. I will not stop into that. Okay, but obviously over here we can chat with Copilot in Word. Okay, how we can do that? Of course, have a look at this particular part over here. Okay. And the same I'm going to be showing you on my screen as well. So let me just go now here. Okay, are you noticing on the right hand side, I'm having actually a pen, okay, which of course is giving me the Copilot. I'm having this text box over here, which is the prompt area, okay, and then summarize this document, speak with Copilot about the document insights, what are the key benefits of AI business, what is artificial intelligence, are some of the suggested prompts, okay, no problem. Let me just do this one, okay. Speak with Copilot about the documents insights. Okay, let's see. Oh, pardon, because okay, so yeah, you see, even on the conversation level, I can actually do that one. Okay, so with audio. However, let's see that what task can AI perform? Okay, this is a question that I'm asking right away. Okay, so if I do, why is understanding AI important for the business? Then this one. Okay, uh, I'll actually ask the following. Okay, how important is to have a strong prompt? Okay, this question is not on the data organization, and you've noticed that over here, Copilot was telling that it's going to be referencing the information from the web. Okay. And then, yes, it gives me over here actually some of the reasons why we actually should be opting for the strong web, a strong prompt. Okay. Yes. How can I improve my AI prompts? What are some of the examples of the strong AI prompts? Are actually some of the suggested prompts based on my iteration, my communication with the in this case, yeah, okay, that's all. With the Copilot. Okay, moving on forward. Okay, so what else? Well, we are in the Outlook now, okay, where we can actually go along and then summarize the email threads. We can draft the emails. We can actually receive some coaching tips as well, okay? Let's then move into the very next view, and that is actually the Outlook, okay? So same here. So that was a Word, okay? I'm going to be keeping this one, okay? So going back to the home page, okay, App Launcher, and then Outlook. Okay, so let me just close this first. Okay, so here we are. This is now the Outlook. Okay, you're noticing the inbox on the left hand side, the pane. Okay, in the tree structure, and then a selected inbox, and over here the emails, and then on this classical ribbon on the right hand side, I'm having the Copilot. Okay, let me open an email. Okay, from these emails that I have it over here. Okay, so this is not the production environment. So let's be clear on that. Okay, so let's open up this one. Okay. Okay, so here, as we can see, pretty much we have actually this thread of a communication that I was running with my colleague Eamon. Okay, now that I've actually came into this particular thread, you're noticing something that says summary by Copilot. Okay, well, right away, Copilot is actually summarizing all of the content in this thread. Okay, so if I click on that part, well, I'm having the summary of the emails that I've exchanged with my colleague. Okay, that's good. What else? Okay, well, I can then pretty much come here. Okay, and then here it is. Get the Copilot to draft a response to an email thread. Let me just use this one. Okay. So now I'm using the Copilot in order to reply. Okay. Suggested prompts based on what has been discussed in this particular thread of email communications. A short-term friendly message, request information, give update, announcement. Okay. And then create a newsletter. Okay. Let's just do this one. Short-term friendly message. Okay. Write a short and friendly message about the message outline and key points. Okay, let's generate this one. Okay, now here's that generated drafted email in the form of a reply. What else? I can keep it. I can discard it. Okay, I can retry. I can make it shorter. I can make it longer. I can change the tone. Okay, now let's change the tone. Okay, let's make it look like a poem. Okay, let's go here further. Okay, and then change this one into the direct. Okay, but while I was actually doing these iterations with the Copilot, see here 303. Okay, so this is the third, and this is the second, and this is the first one. Okay, that's good, super. If I'm then pretty much keeping this one, okay, then definitely I would say keep it. Okay, and then I can send it this one to the email. Okay, so yes, I'm going to be sending that one and then send. But pay attention now over here. Okay, AI generated content may be incorrect, so be sure to check the message before sending it. Some point in time in this webinar, we're going to be telling it that, okay, verify, verify, verify. Okay, that's good. Send it. What else do we have? Okay, let's just come over here. Okay, and then yes, let's chat. So I've drafted. I'm going to be chatting. Okay, help me write, understand, help me plan and set goals. Okay, let me see what I have over here for the Outlook. Okay. Okay, so if I'm going to be using this prompt, okay, so write an email about the new project, okay, just like that. We see what is going to be the reaction of a Copilot. Okay, it says done. I created a draft email about the new project. Be sure to check the content before sending. Okay, So let's just say that this is short and friendly message. Okay, hi there. I hope you're doing great and having a fantastic day. I wanted to share some delightful news with you. We have embarked on a fantastic new project that promises this and that. Okay, super, no problem. Okay, but I want to have actually something else. I have, I want to have this one. Okay, so I want to have this. Draft a professional email announcing the launch of a project alpha to the marketing team. Highlight its objectives, timeline, and team responsibilities. Keep the tone motivational and include a call to action for the next meeting. Okay, let's try and generate this one. Okay, so we have more of a context, we have a goal, we have the source. Okay, and of course we are clear and conscious. Okay, so yet again this one is just highlights the very important at the level of the prompt. The more of a clear, the more of a conscious, the goal that we've set there. Okay, the context that we've provided, the source that we've actually provided, the easier for the Copilot to understand our intention, what we want. And obviously, the greater the results would be then provided by the Copilot. So this is what matters. And you've just seen in action one such example. I'm going to be sharing with you now this one. Okay. So the weak prompt, just an example of it. This was in Outlook 365. Okay, and then also like the other one, which I've called it as a strong prompt. Okay, moving on forward, class. Here we are within the PowerPoint. Yes, indeed, we can have a lot of the benefits from using the Copilot in the PowerPoint. Why? Because it will help us create the presentation, create those very fancy presentations. Okay, from the perspective of the design, from the perspective of the content, from the perspective of the speaker notes. Okay, from the perspective of updating and modifying, and of course the layout. So actually a lot of the benefits that we can get it actually from within the PowerPoint, from the Copilot in PowerPoint. Okay, time to move on in there. Okay, so let's leave this one as it is. Okay, let's just keep it this one. Okay, and then coming in here, App Launcher. Okay, PowerPoint. Okay, let's go to the blank presentation here. Okay, we have the Copilot in here, okay, but we have actually the Copilot in here, okay. I can create a presentation which is similar to drafting in Word and drafting in Outlook, but then I can ask the Copilot, which is this one here, similar to asking the Copilot on the right-hand side in Word and the right-hand side in the Outlook as well. Okay, since we're here, let's just create a presentation. Okay, so clicking that one, create a presentation from a file. Okay, reference a file. Let's reference a file that this one. Remember, it's in Word. Okay, it's this one here. So let's do that. Okay, so create a presentation about the introduction to the first artificial intelligence. Let's just do that. Okay, it started to work. Generate the slides. Okay, let's see. It tells me the steps, adding titles to the slides. Okay. Okay. So you see all this has been generated by the Copilot from this document, this one. Okay, let's keep it. And then yes, pretty much that's what we actually see it now here. This is the introduction to artificial intelligence, exploring the AI's definition of business benefits. And obviously very fancy. Definitely we can actually then work more on this one. Let me see here. Are you noticing that we have the speaker notes as well? Okay. And going all the way down to the conclusion. Okay, super. Now let's go here, home, okay, and let's bring in the Copilot, asking the Copilot. Okay, that was just one particular example, okay, of how we can benefit from the Copilot in the PowerPoint. Okay, I will go here with my prompts, okay. So I'm going to be stopping into the PowerPoint, okay. And just do this one, okay. So let's go with File New, Blank Presentation. Okay, let's ask the Copilot in here. Okay, let's do this one. Make a PowerPoint about cloud computing. Okay, it's very generic prompt. Let's see the reaction of the Copilot. Sure, I can help you create the new presentation. Select create new presentation to get started and then describe the type of a presentation you'd like to create. Okay, so create new presentation. Okay, create a presentation about cloud computing. Okay, no file referenced. Okay, just purely like that. Definitely, it's going to be actually doing its best. Okay, estimated number of slides 24. Okay, I will not generate that one because I will go with actually something which I'm calling it strong prompt. Okay, so in here you see I can come here, but of course I need to edit the prompt. Okay, so I'm going to be highlighting that one, create a presentation now, but I'm going to be doing this one. Okay, create a presentation. In fact, like this. Create presentation about computing, including an overview, benefits, and security consideration. Use a modern theme, visuals, and concise bullet points to maintain clarity. Okay, let's generate this one. Less slides, huh? It was more before, but now it's less. Why? Because it's not that I wanted like more slides. It was that the thing that I needed, okay? And now I'm actually having all that. And this is the overview. This is the benefits. This is the security and modern trends in cloud computing. And generating the slides. Okay, remember that we've actually asked to be what? Security considerations for the cloud computing, okay, benefits overview, but then also like the modern theme, visuals as well, okay, and then some concise bullet points in there in order to be able to maintain the clarity. Okay, let's keep it. And then going to the view, normal view, and then this is that. Okay, so I'm going to the home. Okay, I can extend further. Okay, let me just see whether the designer is going to be helping me here. Okay, and designer is now part of a Copilot. Pay attention in here. Okay, so then you see this is what I've actually received, and indeed, okay, I'm having all the information that I was asking, clear, concise. Okay, with the very enhanced visuals. Okay, and premise that's very thing in regard to the PowerPoint, Copilot in it, and of course the thing that we've said regarding the importance of the prompt. Okay, here is the PowerPoint 365. Okay, and then the weak prompt, and also like the strong prompt. Okay, super. Moving on forward, okay, based on what we have here, okay, we're going to be moving on forward to the Excel. Okay, yes, in similar terms as we've seen the benefits of the Copilot in Word, in Outlook, in PowerPoint, in similar terms, we're going to be having the benefits in Microsoft Excel as well. We know that the Excel is actually working upon the list. On which list we can then do the data analysis as well. We can do the calculations by using the functions of the Excel. Okay, we can then visualize the data through the charts. Okay, so yes, Copilot can help me in that particular regard as well. Will help me to analyze the data. Will help me to transform the data into some visual representation, which is actually very clear, very concise, is aiming for a goal, and of course, it's easy to understand and interpret it at the same time as well. Okay, in that regard, I'm going to be coming yet again here. So now moving on forward, okay, and then going here, and then the app launcher and Excel. Okay, so let's go with the blank workbook. Okay, are you noticing now? Yes, yes, here, start with the Copilot. And because we've had actually some of the question earlier when it was saying that if new updates are going to be available with the Copilot, whether we need to be actually purchasing that. Okay, well, it used to be a discussion in regard to the stock keeping unit, SQs. Okay, if it's some specific feature that you need to add it, well, that definitely needs to be paid as it was the case. But like what we see currently now, this pop-up window was not before. I'm not saying it was at a week ago or a month ago, but at least it was not before. You see now we have this one, okay? So Microsoft is actually working it, and then like AIs in general and Copilot in particular for the Microsoft is work in progress, okay? To improve into the existing applications, okay? And then also like to add it on the new applications and services as well. So pretty much all the updates are going to be indeed part of your subscription if they are according to the policy and of course to the marketing preferences of the Microsoft part of your subscription. If it's not, you're going to be then told from Microsoft that if you want this feature on your existing subscription, then obviously go ahead and purchase the SQ for that particular specific. Okay, start with the Copilot over here. Let's see what we can do over here. Okay, so I'm going to be yes, very much doing actually over here. I'm having down here some of the suggested. Okay, and then obviously I need some data. Okay, let me just close this one. Okay, and then obviously I'm going to be coming in here, closing this one as well. Okay, and then coming here, going to my OneDrive. Okay, so you see it was actually saved automatically, this one. Okay, yeah, an analyzer financial spreadsheet. Okay, let me just pick up this one. Yes, I'm having this table with all of these data over here. Excellent. Let me just bring over the Copilot. Okay, and I want to ask Copilot about the following prompt. Okay, I have over here some of the suggested prompts: advanced analysis, show data insights, explain the formula, how do I? Okay, but let's say that I want just a simple prompt. Analyze this sales data. Okay, let's just see what I'm going to be getting. Pay attention, A1, A13. For all of you with the experience in Excel, okay, well, let me just, yeah, wait for that. Okay, to analyze the sales data, I will break it down into the following steps. Okay, so here it is how it was actually suggested from Copilot in order to be able to analyze this sales data. Okay, but just for information, A1, this is the cell A1, and down here, this is the K13. So you've actually noticed that in that particular process, while it was actually extracting this information, it was actually specifying the range A1, K13. I myself in this prompt was not specific. I didn't set that you should be taking into consideration actually the entire range of the data within that. Okay, so I'm going to be coming with this particular prompt. Might not be relatable to this particular example, but at least just to tell you that how much means to have a very strong prompt. Okay, and to see the reaction of a Copilot. Okay, so analyze this monthly sales data to identify top performing products and trends over the last 3 months. Provide key insights on the sales growth and decline, highlighting percentages. Okay, so if we look in here, okay, well, I'm not having specifically months there, okay, but no problem. I will leave as it is, okay, just to see the reaction. Yet again, analyzing the A1K13, the range, still working on suggestions. Okay, so that was in here. Top campaigns, top performing products, you see. Okay, because it's still actually generating, still working. Okay, so this is, okay, so let me just come in here. So this is from the prompt that I've addressed. To analyze the monthly sales data and identify top performance products and trends over the last 3 months, I will break it down into the following steps. Top performing products, sales trends. This was my strong prompt, okay? But now if we go into this one here, okay? So analyze this sales data. To analyze the sales data, summary statistics, top campaigns, and campaign type analysis. Okay, so pretty much that was actually something that Copilot has predicted. Now that I mentioned the wording predicted, okay, let me just actually pretty much share something with you. Okay, until this era of artificial intelligence or AI models, what we've had before was instruction-based machines, devices, applications, okay, computers. So we've had the program, instructions, and then when that code was executed, the software was pretty much then following the instructions, okay? What we have today is completely different, okay? We have the knowledge base, we have the machine learning, which is actually the enhanced and advanced algorithms, okay? And then this AI model, it was trained with a big amount of data from the knowledge base, then this AI model can predict, okay? That's why while I was very clear and concise on this prompt, okay, and less of a prediction from the Copilot, up here, more of a prediction. Do I really want that particular prediction? Might be cases, yes. Might be situations, no. But on the workplace, we are going to be mostly relying upon what? Upon the existing set of data, which for us is a knowledge base, and we just want to extract the best insights and patterns of such data on my reports, on my work. Okay, so that would pretty much be the case with weak prompts and of course the strong prompts. Okay, so in similar fashion, okay, respected audience, I'm going to be sharing with you examples that I've just taken in here. Okay, so this is then strong prompt. Okay, let me look at the timing. Okay, yes, we're good. Okay, excellent. Moving on forward. We've seen Excel. Okay, let's have a look in Teams. Yes, yes, indeed, we can benefit from the Copilot in Microsoft Teams as well. But just a friendly reminder, the Teams is an application that is actually very much empowering the collaboration within the workplace. So we use it for the collaboration, we use it for the communication, okay? Internally as the organization, but of course with the partners, with the customers, with the clients, okay? That can help us a lot. And indeed, we can benefit from using the Copilot in order to actually increase the productivity, the overall productivity when we work with the Microsoft Teams, okay? At the individual level, but of course at the group level as well. I'm referring to the group level because I'm actually pointing here the fact that if we're going to be using it in the collaboration environments, therefore that is going to be another huge benefit. Okay, yes, because we're using for communication, then of course we might have plenty of the meetings that we've actually conducted with the Microsoft Teams. Copilot can help us in that part. Okay, doing the summarization, telling us some specific topics, reminding us of something that was very much circulating within the meetings. Okay, that are needed to be paying the attention. Okay, and etc. benefits. Okay. Of course, I can go along and then establish a chat, okay, with the Copilot. But let's make some differences over here with this one here and this one over here. Then I'm going to be very much actually presenting that one to you as well. Okay, so we have the Copilot chat and we have the Copilot in Teams. Okay, very specifics are that the Copilot chat can access all your Teams chat experiences and also can access the email and meetings from the Outlook. Okay, on the right hand side, Copilot in Teams can access just your Teams chat experiences. So Copilot in Teams, which we're going to be seeing just shortly from now, can access just the chat experience within the team alone. Whereas the Copilot chat in Microsoft Teams can go beyond Microsoft Teams. Okay, of course, can access all of my Teams chat experiences, but can access my email and meetings from the Outlook as well. Okay, over here, to use Copilot chat within Teams, select the Copilot that appears at the top of the Teams space. I'm going to be showing you that part. Copilot chat uses the Grab Grounded. And I told you that it's a Microsoft Grab, it's a platform that interconnects the application. In this case, is interconnecting the Microsoft Teams with Microsoft Outlook in order to give you some upper hand experience in compared to the Copilot in Teams. Okay, and definitely this is going to be providing suggestions and recommendations based on the context of the work that we are doing and performing. On the other hand, it does not access organization data outside of Teams. So it's just in Teams. And we've said that in order to access the data outside of a given application, the data should be stored within the OneDrive and SharePoint, okay? But the Copilot in Teams doesn't have that capability. It's just the Copilot chat in Teams that has that particular capability. It's available by default. So it's actually, the Teams is equipped with what? With Copilot in Teams. But lately, Microsoft has added the Copilot chat within the Microsoft 365 and named that the 365 with a Copilot name. Actually, naming convention, new update, Microsoft 365 Copilot, which has now the Copilot chat and is actually capable of accessing the data through the Microsoft Graph at the back end, okay, or the back logic. Helps you quickly get up to speed and synthesize the key information across all of the team's chat threads. Yes, but still is within the teams. Okay, let me just show you that part. Okay, so I'm coming in here, of course, and I'm going to be going yet again over here within the Copilot in Microsoft 365. Okay, and coming here, and here's the teams. Okay, let me close this one. Now you're noticing this icon here and this icon here. Okay, so this is Copilot Chat. Copilot Chat, the one with the capabilities to go beyond the Microsoft Teams, go access the stuff in Outlook as well. And this one, Copilot in Teams. So Microsoft Teams has its own Copilot. Microsoft Word has its own Copilot. Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Power BI, we did mention over here, and etc. and etc. Okay, so that this one is actually more related to the work in the teams, but specifically within the chat. Okay, and then this one is similar to what? Well, because this can go into the Microsoft Outlook, but similar to Indeed, okay, from a general perspective. Although this one has more of a capabilities because this is Microsoft 365 Copilot, okay, and that's just a Copilot actually within the Teams chat. Now, let me just see something. Rakesh says, is there an option to change the model, as I did not find an option to give instructions or train when to add agent option? Okay, so Rakesh, you want to actually change the model, okay? Well, premise, nowadays, actually, we can actually bring over those AI-powered agents, okay, into the Copilot with a certain APIs, okay? So if you've been actually referring to to the options of the Copilot within a given application, okay, then ensure that you do have the proper API for that particular application. And what are the available actually within the Microsoft 365 as well? Okay, hundreds of them. Okay, if I'm not wrong, 60 more, 100, so 600 plus connectors available. Okay, and then yes, that is going to be helping you in order to shape up, okay, your the Copilot of a certain application. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Okay, now here's the Copilot chat in Teams. Okay, yet again. Okay, so Rakesh, no problem. If you're looking at the share screen, well, you're noticing agents here. Okay, get agent, create an agent. Okay, so I think that will help you. Okay, so that will help you in order to then, of course, yeah, perform what you've been looking for in order to change the model. Okay, if that is the way that I'm actually perceiving your question. Okay, so in here then, with this one, okay, let me just, yeah, you see, I'm having a thread of a communication here with my colleague Eamon. You've seen within the Outlook some of the emails that I'm being exchanging with Eamon, okay? Let me just actually over here enter a prompt, okay? Summarize the emails, meetings, and chats with Eamon. You see, if you're looking now carefully, okay, well, pretty much you're noticing that I'm going to be copying this one. Okay, why? I'm going to be using that one later on. Okay, I'm having the category of the emails here. I'm having the meetings as well here. Okay, I have the chats as well. Okay, so yes, it gives me emails because of the capability of the Copilot chat, the one that we've seen on in that particular presentation. But now I'm going to be going to this particular chat, okay, with Eamon. Okay, here. I'm going to be calling this Copilot. Okay, what if I'm going to be addressing the same prompt? Summarize the emails, meetings, and chats with Eamon. Okay, it started with chats. See whether it's going to be telling me about the emails. It stopped there. Okay, here's the summary of the chats with Eamon. Okay, therefore I'm missing. Okay, the meetings, and of course I'm missing over here the emails as well. Okay, so yes, Microsoft Teams is equipped with two types of a Copilot: the Copilot chat, the one that we went over that particular slide, and of course the Copilot of its own, the one that is pretty much using for the chats specifically. Okay, moving forward in here, let me see what I'm having actually as an example of a prompt. Okay, so let's come here. Okay, I'm going to be actually testing both Copilots. Okay, summarize the meeting. I'm having this prompt. Summarize the meeting. Let's see. The meeting summary is as follows. Okay. Uh, Remember that I'm running the Copilot in this thread of a chat, okay? Which of course is referencing this user, Eamon, okay, my colleague. But if I'm going to be coming over here, and if I'm doing the same here, summarize the meeting, looking for the recap, okay? You had a meeting titled, you see, with Eamon, okay? Yes. So if I would have more of a meetings, okay, then definitely more of a meetings would come over here from the other users as well. But just because of the fact that I don't have it, therefore it just tells actually ends up with one user in both instances of the Copilot. Okay, what about some more advanced prompt, okay, which I'm calling it a strong prompt. Okay, summarize today's project status in Teams, okay? Highlight major decisions, assign action items, and deadlines, including the key discussion points for each department, provide a follow-up recommendation. Okay, I will not say summarize today's project status. Okay, summarize past 90, or let me say more, 120 days. Okay, so like this. Okay, yes. So it tells me that I don't have the records actually. Okay, no problem. Let me just go now here. Okay, and what about this one here? So same in here. Let me increase this one, 180 days. Okay, so status meetings in Teams. So specific to this user. Okay, excellent. So I'm going to be using the same over here. Okay, and then run this one. Okay, you see, again, it tells me that there is no records. So even, okay, the one that, for instance, was here, displayed by the Copilot, you see, but if you're looking carefully, okay, this is on October 17th, okay, the period of a 6 months, okay, but then if we can actually extract the timing, October 17, yes, from October 17 is this one in here, okay? So the Copilot chat is not actually bringing over that particular information, although it actually brought here that particular information, especially this particular meeting over here, okay? But of course, that was actually from the last Friday. Okay, regardless, let me just then share with you, okay, some of the MS Teams, okay, prompts. And the second one, so you have it as an example. Okay, super. Moving on forward, time is running. Okay, let's make sure that we conclude the topic 3, and with it, actually, then yeah, share the achievement code and the feedback. Okay, so optimize and extend the Microsoft 365 Copilot. Okay, so what we have here is just actually mostly the recapping of what we've been discussing so far. Okay, so working with artificial intelligence, definitely there's a great benefit coming out of it. Okay, the idea is that this is actually a very powerful tool. Overall, we're talking about the artificial intelligence, which of course is going to be enhancing actually our daily routines, okay, our daily works, okay. So it's going to be empowering us as a user, and it will help us in order to actually bring more from the work, okay, bring in the creativity, okay, and then obviously accelerating, boosting, and then increasing, improving, okay, all of the work that we're doing in a daily basis, whether at the individual level or actually at the workplace as well. Okay, what about some of the best practices? Yes, when it comes to the best practices for using Microsoft 365 Copilot, the intention is and the aim within the prompt. We need to be actually very clear and conscious in terms of the prompts, okay? Always it says trust, but verify. Well, we said earlier that we need to verify. Definitely, we're going to be collaborating with the Microsoft 365 Copilot, but we need to verify. And you've seen actually in the that particular information that was coming while we've actually performed that particular hands-on activities. Okay, yes, we might engage ourselves into the feedback, and that tells that we're going to be very active in helping the Microsoft in order to improve further the Copilot, especially at the level of the precision, at the level of the performance, and of course at the level of the accuracy as well. Okay, what else? We might actually avoid over reliance. Okay, so that's why we should not be a user that is very dependent upon the Copilot. Okay, but a user which is when we need it, obviously we have it next to us. Okay, similar to the pilot and Copilot. Okay, because pilot doesn't rely heavily on the Copilot. The pilot is driving the plane. Okay, but when it needs, it has the Copilot as well. Okay, so yes, let's unlock the creativity. Okay, how? By experimenting with the prompts. So pay pay a lot of the attention to the prompt and devote time in order to get to know what makes a strong prompt. Okay, prioritize the privacy and security. Yes, definitely, but at least I can assure you, so rest assured that you are in the safe hands when you're actually using the Copilot. It's not the Copilot itself, it's actually the company behind the Copilot, such as the Microsoft. And then, yes, stay updated on Copilot's evolving capabilities, okay, which definitely will enable the users in order to be able to adapt and optimize the productivity in the ongoing basis. Moving on forward, examining how to build an effective prompt. Yes, we should always look after the goal. Okay, the goal will pretty much specify what. What do we want from Copilot? So we need to clearly define what we want the Copilot to accomplish for us. Then add, because if you're noticing, we have these pluses in here. So at the end, it should be goal, context, expectations, and the source. Context, explain why do we need it and who is involved. Okay. Expectations, describe how Copilot should respond to best meet our needs. And the source, provide the relevant information or examples so that the Copilot is actually guided, okay, to where and from where we want actually that particular information. So when we have goal, context, expectations, and the source, it's going to be far more easier for the Copilot to understand what we want. And as the end result is that indeed we're going to be getting what we've been aiming for. Okay. So moving on forward, examining how to build an effective prompt. This is actually just one particular example. We've already shared in the chat box some of the examples that we've performed during this particular webinar, but yet again over here we actually have it, some of the types of the prompts, okay, which are indicating the goal, indicating the context, indicating the expectations, and indicating actually the sources within the prompts itself, so that obviously that altogether helps the Copilot, as we've noted earlier, in order to bring the best out of from that particular iteration. Review the prompting best practices. Yes, obviously, if we look into this particular slide, well, this is indeed once again bringing actually to our attention of how much of the consciousness, okay, and in time we should be devoting actually to the prompts. Why? Because prompt engineering. What is the prompt engineering? It's actually a technique in order to craft the strong prompts, okay? And always remember that we need to be clear and concise with the prompts, okay? Definitely, we need to be experimenting with different styles, okay? For instance, like we've seen it in some instances, especially within the Outlook, when we've actually seen it like make it short, make it mid-range, okay, make it long, that particular drafting email, okay, adjusting the tone, casual, poem, professional, okay, the language, the formats, and etc. and etc. Give the Copilot a point of view, okay, how? Provide some context. That is going to be helping, okay? And then also like provide some role-playing scenarios, okay? And then that is going to be helping the Copilot as well. And then avoid some common mistakes, okay? Some vague prompts, okay? Some complex questions, and also like assumption as well, okay? By being clear and specific, indeed, we're going to be helping ourselves and helping the Copilot in order to extract the best out of the capabilities of the Copilot. Okay, understand Copilot's limitations. We've had actually one particular discussion in the format of a question that for the certain operations within the Power BI, obviously like the fabric, interaction with the fabric, the Power BI Copilot was not working. But then the colleague, okay, here in the webinar told us that that's actually an SKU, stock keeping unit, that we need to add an additionally to the Power BI Copilot so we can enhance that particular functionality. So that is actually something that if we understand the Copilot limitations from the perspective of the features, okay, but also from the perspective of the data, like for instance, in some instances, it couldn't find some of the data that I was looking after. Why? Just because of that, that data did not exist. Assuming that this is, and it was actually for real, auto testing environment, a production in actually production environment. Be polite. Yes, yes, indeed. I myself, but I'm very confident that that you've actually came to recognize that one as well. That when I'm actually like, for instance, when I'm using the prompts, like for instance, like give me, okay, so I'm very discreet, very direct. Give me. That sounds like an order. It's not that I'm not receiving, but I'll say that from time to time I'm getting something that, okay, like it was before, okay, when I was asking a Copilot, what's up? Tell me, okay, tell me what is Copilot, okay? That indeed I will not be getting, but when I'm actually polite, I did actually that one right at the beginning on purpose, okay? So indeed, when we are polite, for instance, like if I would go again and say, hey, Copilot, please tell me what is Copilot, I'm confident that it's going to be pretty much telling me what is the Copilot. So yes, be polite, indeed. That is going to be enhancing the interaction with the Copilot, okay? So using the words such as please at the beginning, well, indeed is going to be showing some gratitude and obviously then make the Copilot actually to get the best out of that particular iteration. Be curious. Yes, it's going to be driving better results. Asking, for instance, like for the preliminary questions, it's going to be helping refine some of the instructions and iterate, iterate, iterate. Okay, so you've seen that particular like regenerate, okay, in the format of a circle, okay? So yes, those are the iteration. Iterate. If you're not happy with the first version of particular draft, document, email, and whatsoever, iterate. Iterate until you're actually coming, getting what you've been aiming for. Okay, and then yes, extend the Microsoft 365 Copilot. Yeah, crap. Well, we've said that that's the platform which is going to be interconnecting apps and services on Microsoft 365. And obviously, the user, the groups can actually then perform the work at the individual level, as the user can perform the work as the groups within the workplace as well. Okay, so that the Microsoft Graph or the connectors of the graph are going to be bringing the data from the external systems as well into the given application. The Teams from the Microsoft Outlook, okay? In Microsoft 365 Copilot from all of the apps and services of that particular tenant, okay? Declarative Copilots, yes, what we have in here is all about the Copilot powered agents, okay? Which in one instance, well, we've said, especially when we're pointing to the agents or adding the agents or creating the agent within the Microsoft Teams, okay? But definitely we need to have the API plugins, okay? Automated programming interfaces, so we can then, of course, pretty much enhance the functionalities and capabilities of that particular Copilot. Okay, Teams message extension. Yes, it's going to be helping the users to search and take actions directly within the Microsoft Teams, okay? And all that is going to be making the communication far more smoother. And Copilot Studio, okay? Yes, Copilot Studio is accessible, okay? If you have a paid subscription of the Microsoft Copilot, the Microsoft 365 Copilot, for sure you can actually reach out to the Copilot Studio, and then that is acting as a platform which is, of course, going to be helping you and your organization to build the custom copilots, which are going to be tailored to the certain task. One particular example would be like the IT departments, and specifically the Office of the Help Desk is overwhelmed with the request in regard to what? Reset my password, emails, and phone calls. Your organization can actually sit down, take some time, and then develop, train, test until it assesses and evaluates that that's the right copilot, a copilot for actually resetting the passwords. And then obviously the pretty much This administrative overhead can be then taken out by the help desk team within your organization, so that precious time can be devoted into other tasks within the organization. Understand examples, we can bring up the custom-made copilots. Okay. Yes, class, pardon, class, because from the trainings, okay, the respected audience, this actually is going to be all for this particular webinar. Okay. Yes, we do have actually something for you. Okay. So go ahead and then scan these particular codes. Okay, QR codes. One is the achievement code, which of course it's going to be, but you need the Microsoft account. Okay, I'm going to be showing that one to you. Okay, just give me. Okay, so achievement code. This is actually, let me just share it with you in the chat box. Okay. Okay, so let me see. So make sure first that you sign in, go to the Microsoft Learn, okay, navigate the Microsoft Learn, sign in with a Microsoft account, okay, and then, yeah, actually by just clicking on that link, you're going to be prompted, okay, to sign in, and then coming to this particular screen. When you come to this particular screen, obviously, then adding to your profile the premise, this particular accomplishment, okay? Then definitely, we're living in that period of a time when we're actually going to be very much showcasing what are our achievements, okay? So then redeem. All you need to do is that after you sign in with the Microsoft account into the Microsoft Learn and you come to this particular screen, then all you need is actually redeeming. Okay, it looks like you've already redeemed this code. Yes, in my case, that's the case. But of course, for you, it's going to be something brand new. Okay, and I would like to congratulate on this accomplishment. Okay, coming back to that. Okay, here. So on the left-hand side is the achievement. Okay, achievement code. On the right-hand side, we would like to thank you very much if you're spending just a minute, okay, to tell us, okay, your opinion about this particular webinar, okay, whether the content was well organized, whether the content actually pretty much satisfied your objectives from the webinar, whether myself was actually at the level, desirable level, okay, that somehow actually passed over the information and maintained actually successfully to convey the message of the prompts, importance of the prompts to you. Okay, so yes, we would very much indeed thank you a lot in that regard. Okay, so let me then share into the chat box as well the feedback form. So you have the QR codes, but in the chat box, you will have it also like, okay, so yes. Ankit says this achievement code is same as yesterday's course. Really? Okay, actually can ask my colleagues right away, no problem. But to my understanding, because I'm actually not, okay, not the one that is in this particular, okay, so, okay, so I'm not actually responsible for the achievement codes, but let me just, yes, ask my colleagues. Okay, to address that query to my colleague. Okay. Yes, I was actually, yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, you load for the session. Yes, thank you very much, Albani. Okay, pleasure to be having you in this webinar. Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate your kind words, Sharafat. Okay. Thank you indeed. Appreciate it a lot, your kindness. Okay, so yeah, class, I do apologize on the name of my company that I'm actually representing, the tech knowledge, that happened to be the same achievement code. Okay, but rest assured that we will be doing the best that we can to then provide you the needed code. Okay, but just make sure that you are actually doing your contribution. You're actually conveying your opinion through the evaluation. Okay, that means a lot to us as well. Definitely, we're human beings. We might do the best. We might think that we're doing the best, but definitely, when we look at it from the other perspective, obviously, your eyes can see that there's a lot of the rooms for the improvement. So, in that regard, we'd like to thank you very much indeed. Okay. So moving on forward, and then yes, this is a big thank you to everyone. And I'll say that once again, dear valued audience, indeed, we are essentially appreciating your patience and dedication throughout this particular webinar, which we've called it at Microsoft M365 Copilot Prompting Session webinar. Yes, it was my pleasure, but of course, on behalf of my organization, I'll say that it is our pleasure actually to be able to share this experience with you. And at the same time, we at Tech Knowledge hope that you actually found this particular webinar both enjoyable and insightful as well. Okay, yes, we're going to be wishing you a wonderful day and a very productive week ahead. Okay, may you all enjoy excellent health. Okay, and at the same time, we wish you all a continued success with Copilot, be it free version or with a payment. Okay, so yes, thank you once again for being a part of this journey. And I'm leaving you with the peace and blessings to you and your families. Okay, Rakesh, thank you so much for your kind words. Yes, pleasure indeed. Pleasure. Okay, super. Still waiting actually, but no problem. Even when I close, the chat is going to be available. So then I can share that achievement code, okay? Or then ask my colleagues to be in touch with you guys and then share the achievement code. Okay, yes. Once again, thank you very much. Okay, and then peace and blessings.